the earliest days of 2D fighters, Street Fighter II may have set the standard, yet it didn't actually stand unchallenged. SNK's Fatal Fury arrived only a year later and went toe-to-toe with Capcom's arcade phenomenon. That said, rather than being a direct clone, SNK created its own identity, introducing multi-lane stages that let players hop between background and foreground for unique offensive and defensive options. This approach gave the brand global recognition, and its roster found even greater fame in the King of Fighters crossover series. The franchise's last main entry came nearly 26 years ago with Garou Mark of the Wolves, when it landed in arcades and on Dreamcast as Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves. Its sprite work felt more like pixel perfection, and its combat system demanded thoughtful play. Even today, I feel like fighting game fans still mention the title alongside Street Fighter III whenever the conversation turns to all-time classics. Now, SNK aims to pick up the legacy and make noise once again, and to prove their point, the company even plastered Fatal Fury branding across WWE's WrestleMania 41 broadcast. Hopefully it sparks some conversation about the game before its release. So now we have it, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, a true sequel to the Fatal Fury timeline. This is ultimately a game that feels modern, yet keeps one foot anchored in tradition. City of Wolves appears to aim to revive the franchise's presence in this genre, reviving the series from its dormancy. So let's jump into this review and see how it manages to do that.
Finally, a worthy opponent. Let's do this!
Fatal Fury City of the Wolves has 15 playable characters that step into the spotlight and joined by a secret boss character you'll want to discover on your own. All the longtime icons are here, such as Terry Bogard, Rock Howard, and Mai Shiranui, who return with inputs and animations faithful to their roots, reflecting a timeline where only a short period has passed in the in-universe. Still, there are a few newcomers to the cast, and Preach's modified Muay Thai approach is a genuine standout. Surprising guest fighters round things out, like DJ Salvatore Ganachi, who performed during WrestleMania 41's opening, and the character appears with some flashy style rooted in dance moves and rhythm beat combos. More surprisingly, soccer legend Cristiano Ronaldo also joins the roster with an unorthodox kit that incorporates some bicycle kicks and curve shots, which is cool, but I hope it doesn't get cancelled IRL like others who do these types of collaborations. Anyway, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. But yeah, I expect to see plenty of soccer balls, I mean footballs, bouncing a screen. But let's get back to the game. Fans of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves will feel right at home here. The sequel is still a tactician's fighter built around deliberate spacing and meter management. The S.P.G, or Selective Potential Gear segment, sits on every life bar, and once a command's health reaches its designated chunk, S.P.G can be activated, granting increased damage, reduced recovery, and access to new rev critical attacks. Some competitors may trigger it immediately for added pressure, while others hold it for a clutch comeback. When the rev gauge is stocked, special moves gain extra properties, and supers receive dramatic damage buffs. The gauge does overheat if spammed, so you're kind of forced to think about each expenditure. The mechanic itself creates a sort of seesaw flow. Resource bursts bring explosive momentum hits, yet smart defense can punish reckless aggression. Defense is just as essential as offense in this game. Guard breaks, dodge attacks, and parry counters reward careful reads. Players accustomed to more conventional 2D fighters might need time to adjust to City of Wolves' unorthodox rhythm. Nevertheless, a streamlined control option exists for newcomers without gutting depth for veterans. It works much like the modern inputs in recent Capcom and Arc System releases, where directional specials replace classic controls, yet frame data and combo routes stay intact. SNK titles rarely boast blockbuster budgets, but they always radiate style where it counts. This entry backs some urban street culture with bold character redesigns that honor legacy while feeling pretty contemporary. Terry's jacket looks weathered and lived in, Mai's iconic fan flourishes carry some extra flair, and Rock's attire balances casual streetwear with geese-inspired trim. The stages themselves vary from neon-lit downtown back alleys to ornate opera house silhouetted by towering stained glass windows. The animated crowds react to match momentum and stage select art splashes each location with sweeping manga panels. Individual environments look vivid on their own, yet a few backgrounds use noticeably lower resolution textures than the fighters, creating some occasional visual dissonance. Overall, the game clears the bar set by the King of Fighters 15, though it lacks the technical polish of, say, Street Fighter 6 or even Guilty Gear Strive. Still, when it comes to the soundtrack, SNK brings their A-game. This soundtrack blends rock riff, hip-hop beats, and New Orleans jazz brass. Character select themes even reference older Fatal Fury releases, and the in-game jukebox opens the entire franchise catalog straight away with no unlock grind required.
Final round! Get ready, fight! Hands off! Perfect day! My wings!
I'm the best in Japan! Yeah! What?
Push it this!
Found your weakness. Right here!
Creature wins!
Story moments take place through animated stills. Most arcade mode illustrations sport crisp line work reminiscent of print manga, yet scenes from Episode to Southtown do rely on rough concept art that feels a little less cohesive. Even so, voiceover performances lend weight to rival battles and pre-fight callouts add personality. Arcade mode remains a classic ladder. Each fighter meets a unique mid-boss and final boss before an ending sequence rolls. Seeing individual epilogues in 2025 feels like a luxury because many modern fighting games shift the storyline to Season Pass story DLC. The optional tutorials and trials are impressively deep, letting users dissect frame data, punish windows, and complex juggle routes. Although the most experimental feature is Episodes of Southtown, a single-player RPG campaign within the game. Players traverse a map, accept missions, earn XP, and equip passive and active skills. Side activities include a pachinko-inspired minigame and the karate bottle chop challenge. On paper, the structure diversifies the package, yet progression often boils down to stat grinding, fight, level up, fight again, then steamroll prior roadblocks. Although this mode shows some thought in the storytelling layout, it really feels as gripping as the core Versus experience for me. Following 2 open beta periods, City of the Wolves launches with full crossplay across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Casual lobbies, rank matching, and room spectating all return, supplemented by a clever ghost system that lets you spar against replays of other players. Early netcode impressions from the beta suggest rollback stability on par with the best in the genre. Launch day could expose some hiccups, but foundations look pretty promising. Graphical strengths and weaknesses sit side by side. Character models animate energetically, expressing personality through idle stances, taunts, and super zoom-ins. Sweat droplets and fabric folds catch light dynamically. However, certain arenas feature blurred billboards or flat crowds that break the immersion somewhat. Likewise, not all the storyboard sequences share a uniform artistic caliber. Still, these variances don't sink the presentation, though Eagle-eyed fans will notice these dips. Still, images and story cutscenes occasionally use pastel color palettes that clash with the grittier in-game textures. This is mostly a call out from some late Southtown campaigns that feature CGs that look like concept sketches. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but it does show signs of budget. City of the Wolves manages to sketch a welcoming on-ramp without ditching its cerebral roots. The simplified input options invite some new players, yet advanced mechanics such as perfect parries, just defends, and high-rank feints reward players investing their time. S.P.G timing, for one, forces resource management decisions every round, showing off the match's dramatic bursts while ensuring deeper strategy underpins each match. The roster all feels pretty distinct. Even Ronaldo, who is arguably a wild card, and while I mostly stuck to my favorites, these new characters really made the game fun for me. 26 years after Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves finally howl again. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves brings a robust package to the ring. You have a thoughtfully crafted roster, a resource-rich combat system, classic arcade ladders, and crossplay framework prepared for global competition. Visual inconsistencies and a middling RPG side mode prevent the game from matching the polished heights of its high-budget peers, but where it matters, seen in its tight fighting mechanics, expressive style, and musical identity, it lands decisive hits. For fighting fans hungry for something a little left field of mainstream conventions, a trip back to Southtown is more than justified. City of the Wolves may be unconventional, but that distinctive flavor is precisely what this crowded genre needs. Noisy Pixel is giving Fatal Fury City of the Wolves an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by Group of Gamers, providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.